A Mississippi murder mystery.
The entrance gunshot wound is in his right temple.
Christian Andreacchio, a young man in his prime, takes his own life.
I guess I was just in shock.
Why would he kill himself?
But his family claims the crime scene investigation lasted only 45 minutes.
Barney Fife could have figured this out in 3 days.
Is there a cover-up to hide a cold-blooded murder?
Suicide? Of course not.
The evidence in this case points to a homicide.
In this Crime Watch Daily exclusive, we reveal new, never-before-seen clues in the case.
Somebody staged that scene.
Christian Andreacchio may have hailed from landlocked Meridian, Mississippi, but according to family members, he dreamed of a life spent on the water.
He knew from the beginning he wanted to work on a tugboat, and got on as soon as he turned 18 and worked on the same boat until his death.
Christian was making a lot of money on the tugboat. He was happy. He was buying the things that he wanted. He had his own apartment with his brother.
He said he wanted to be the youngest captain at Magnolia Marine, and he was on his way.
They all say that he would have made it because he was progressing pretty rapidly.
Along with that drive to succeed came his unbridled joy for life.
What type of son is Christian?
Fun-loving, never meets a stranger, life of the party, like the girls, like to flirt and carry on, just all-around good guy.
He was a social butterfly. He had tons of friends.
But his mother Ray and father Todd were concerned about a new love in Christian's life, 17-year-old Whitley Goodman.
What'd you make of her?
Initially, she, presented very sweet, cute, little blonde girl.
In fact, Whitley actually lived with the Andreacchios for a short time.
She described a very chaotic childhood. And I think that that's one thing that Christian, wanted to save her, wanted to come in and take care of her. And then after about the first month, things started going downhill, and I started becoming more and more concerned about the relationship.
We told him that she couldn't stay here anymore.
And so there were concerns. Her reputation was not very good.
Christian worked 30-day hitches on the tug and decided to get an apartment in Meridian with his older brother Josh, who also worked long stretches on a tug.
She wanted somewhere to stay, and then Josh needed someone to move in with him to help with rent and everything. And so, it worked out for the two of them.
Christian reportedly let Whitley drive his BMW and stay in his apartment.
Did Christian ever say, I love this girl, I'm gonna move her in? No, it was never that.
No.
Then a bizarre exchange between Whitley and Christian. After an accident he had on the tug, his family says she became worried about what would happen to her, especially if she got pregnant.
He had fallen overboard, and she said, well, what happens if you get killed or something happens to you? Who's going to take care of me and the baby? Well, he started asking about insurance then, and I told him, no, you don't put her as beneficiary on anything. Don't get her any insurance, don't do anything like that. Why would you do that?
It appeared from the text messages that she had told him she thought she was pregnant. Then she came back later, a couple of days later, said she wasn't pregnant. But then she said, what if I was pregnant? Who would take care of me and the baby? Because my mother wouldn't.
But Ray also suspects something else.
I think that she had found out that he had a life insurance policy at work, that his previous girlfriend was the beneficiary. And she didn't like that.
With long spells on the boat, Christian began to have his doubts about Whitley.
It was a lot of conflict in the relationship.
On the day before he supposedly committed suicide, Christian received several calls from his friend Dylan Swearingen.
We were told that Dylan had called Christian several times on the boat, telling him that Whitley was riding around in his car.
Ray claims that fellow crew members, including a female cook, backed up that story.
She said that they kept calling and texting and wouldn't leave him alone. And so, of course, he, being 21 and thinking he can, take on the world, he said he was going to come home, kick her out, and get his car back.
Unbeknownst to his parents, on the night of February 25th, Christian received permission from his captain to leave the boat. His family says Dylan picked him up outside New Orleans and the pair drove back to Meridian in Christian's apartment. He would never leave. About 6 hours later, Ray and Todd received a heart-stopping call.
What was the first phone call that you got to know something was wrong?
From my dad. Ray and I were at a restaurant and he called and told me I need to get home. He said something had happened to one of my kids. He told me it was a tragedy, I need to get home.
And so on the way home, or on the way here, I kept saying, well, it couldn't be Christian because I talked to Christian this morning.
Tragically, it was Christian. Dylan called 911 to report that Christian had shot himself in the upstairs bathroom of his apartment.
Then the police showed up here and had his driver's license and showed me his driver's license and asked what's about my son. So that's how we found out.
By looking at his driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
The family is obviously devastated, but also very confused.
When you heard the words suicide come out of the officer's mouth, what went through your mind?
I said he wouldn't kill himself.
That's not Christian. Christian, you know, why would he kill himself? He wasn't even supposed to be. He was coming home to run this girl off and get his car back.
There was never a doubt in Ray's mind. From the moment that she heard suicide, she never accepted that. Very few people did. I know in Christian's character and his personality, and it's just not him.
The Andriacchios go looking for answers, but they claim they're about to hit a wall of lies. Up next, the family starts its own investigation.
Somebody moved him after he was dead.
And you won't believe what they uncover.
The guy did not change clothes after he shot himself.